Hello, this is Philip and welcome to my channel for this new episode of kOS. Today's episode will be about vectors. Don't worry, it won't be a math lesson about vectors, but you have to know two things about vectors to understand the rest of the video. First, basically you can define a vector with 2 points. So here I can draw a vector from the point A to the point B. The difference between a vector and a segment line is that a vector is going from A, the origin is A, to B, the head is B. So there is an arrowhead here, okay? Meaning that the vector U is going from A to B, and it's not the same vector if you start from B to A. Then if I put another point here, see, I can draw a parallel line passing through C and a line parallel to AB. So AB is parallel to that line, and I can draw a vector from C. So the origin of this new vector is C, and for example, I can go there. Okay, so there is an arrowhead, meaning that the origin of the vector V is C, and it's going to D, from C to D. The two vectors have the same direction. Okay, the direction of a vector is the parallelism here. So AB is parallel to CD, so the two vectors have the same direction. If I draw a new vector here, the vector W here doesn't have the same direction that the vector V here, because the line EF is not parallel to the line CD. Okay, that is the first thing. Direction of a vector is the parallelism. And then there is the magnitude. The magnitude of vector is the length. So the vector U has a magnitude of 5.65. Okay, and the magnitude of the vector V is 2.7. Okay, so you can define a vector with its direction, its magnitude, and its origin point and the head point. Okay, that is all you must know about vectors to understand how kOS works with it. This is a new script in my mission folder. I named it a vector script. Okay, and the first thing you can know is how to draw a vector. Drawing a vector is not important in KSP, but it can be interesting if you want to find an error in your script, if you want to debug your script. For today, I'm gonna show you how to draw a vector because I need it. So to draw a vector, there is a function for that, is vecDraw. Okay, and I have to create a variable, so maybe set my vector, my vec, to vecDraw. Okay, and I need, you see, several things here. The first, I need the origin point 0, 0, 0. Why I choose 0, 0, 0? Because this is the origin in my craft. You have to imagine in your craft, you have to imagine a box surrounding your craft. Okay, there is a box, a rectangular box, here, so you have a box surrounding your craft, and if you see, the center of this box is the origin, is the point 0, 0, 0. Okay, so from 0, 0, 0 to I don't know, maybe 3, negative 1, for example. Okay, so this is my origin point, the head point. Okay, Then I need, so structure vector vector, so I need two vectors. Then I need structure or RGBA, red, green, blue. This is a color, so I can choose a color for my vector, so for example blue. Then I need a string, this means a word, so test. Then another color, this will be the size of my vector, let's say 1 for now. A boolean, true or false. True is to say that I want to see my vector. False, I don't want to see it. And another scalar here, let's say 0.2, it's another size for the vector. 0.2 should be great. And then two more booleans, but I don't need them. So let's just say that. Okay, so set my vec like this. Now here I just have to reboot my up. Okay, this is the test. See, the origin of the vector is the center of my box, and the vector is pointing to the point 3, 3, -1 in space. 3 coordinates because we are working in space. Okay, so that is how to you draw a vector. Now I want to clear that vector, so I need to here in my script I need to write at the beginning clear vec draws. Okay, so that was just for testing. The vector I want to show you is the facing vector of my craft. So facing vec. So we start with 0, 0, 0, and here I want to write a structure ship facing, and just ship facing. This is a vector. You see here facing is a direction. Okay, so this is what I want, and here facing. Okay, in blue, right. Reboot. Oh yes, you see the error here. The script was trying to use some type of direction, okay, in a place where it needed to use some type of vector. Okay, so that means that facing here is a direction, but I need a vector, so I can write vector here. Okay, so reboot. Okay, you see there here a little vector facing here in blue. I want that vector to be longer than that, so let me change my script, and here I will write 5 instead of 1. Okay, reboot that. Tack. This is my facing vector. Okay, you see right away that the facing vector is going in the same direction that my craft. Okay, so this is the direction where my craft is looking at. In the navball, this is that direction here. Okay, and now if I move my craft, the facing vector doesn't move with it. This is because in my script I set facing vector to that vector at one moment, but when I move my craft, this moment is passed, and the line here is finished. kOS doesn't read that that line again. I need to use a loop, and until loop. Okay, we saw that in the previous episode. And until loop means that I want to do this until condition. I want that, and I add weight 0. You need to know why I add a weight 0. You can see, you can watch the video about physics stick, and you can watch the video about the until loop. Okay, and my condition must be false. That means that when kOS reaches that line, if the condition is false, it enters the loop and it continues to read the loop until that condition is true. I want kOS to do that each time. I don't want kOS to exit the loop, so I will write until false. That means that that condition is always false. So kOS will keep the loop running. Okay, so save, reboot. Okay, now I have a tilted vector. And now if I move my vector, you see that the facing vector is following my my craft. Okay, this is because now the vector is in the loop, so each time kOS updates the direction of my facing vector. Okay, so that is one important vector, the facing vector. With that vector, we can choose to draw two other vectors. We can choose to draw the up vector and the star vector. Let me write it here. Alors, the up vector is the top vector, so ship facing, now I want the top vector, for example in green, so top, and in red it will be the star vector. Star vector here and star vector here. Okay. Control C to abort the program and then reboot. Okay, those are my vector. So facing is in the same direction that the craft is going. It is that point on the nav ball. Top is the top of your craft. Okay, if I roll my craft, the top is rolling too. Okay, and the star vector is pointing to the right direction of my craft. Okay, you see that all those vectors are perpendicular. Okay, top and star vector are perpendicular, star vector and facing are perpendicular, and top and facing are perpendicular. I'm sorry about this tilt. I can change that. Okay, just when I move my craft, it stops tilting. Okay, so let me move my craft like that. Okay, so top vector is not important for a rocket if your rocket is perfectly symmetrical. But if you want to run a script with a plane, the top vector is essential. Okay, you must know where's the top of your plane. And the star vector is just a vector to show the right direction. You can have the left direction, it's the opposite direction of the star vector. Okay, so facing director is that point, and then you have star vector and top vector. Okay, let me delete those vectors. I want to show you other vectors. Okay, I've created a Prograde vector. Okay, I kept the facing vector here, and Prograde vector is the Prograde vector. That means this is the point here in your nav ball. Okay, so the vector here, the yellow vector, is pointing at the same direction that that direction here. Okay, and the facing vector is that direction. And sometimes you need to align your craft in the Prograde vector. That means that you want your facing vector to be to have the same direction at your Prograde vector. Okay, so that means that I have in the nav ball, I have to align that point with the center of that circular Prograde marker here. So I do that, okay, and when I see what happens with the vector, those are quite the same, not totally exact, because you see the point here is not exactly in the center of the circle, but it's quite good. I'm doing this manually. Of course, you want kOS to do this, and kOS will be perfect for this exercise. Okay, so that's why you need to know that what is the facing vector and what is the prograde vector. Now, sometimes you can have a need of your velocity. So let me change my script. Okay, I have now a velocity vector. I want the velocity of my orbit. This is the number here. And you see that that vector is very, very long because its magnitude is the number here is the velocity of the craft, 2300. So this is a very long vector, and I kept the scale at 1. Okay, but you have a very long vector here. Okay, so what I want to do is I don't need that vector to be as long as it is for now. So I want to normalize that vector. That means I want to make its length to be equal to 1 unit. The facing vector and the prograde vectors both have a length of 1 unit. Okay, multiplied by 5 because the scale is 5, but the unit is 1. If I normalize a vector, its magnitude will be equal to 1. Okay, so here I can put the scales 5 and Control C and reboot. Okay, now you see the green vector has the same length as the yellow vector, and more than that, you see that the green vector and the yellow vector are exactly the same. It means that the velocity vector has the same direction than the prograde vector. So if you need only the velocity vector, you don't need the velocity vector. You just have to use the prograde vector. But sometimes you can need the velocity vector not for its direction, but for its length, for its magnitude. Here I can print ship velocity orbit magnitude. And let's see, Control C, reboot, up 2244, it's the velocity here. Okay, so you can have a need of that velocity, for example, during a maneuver, during gravity turn, or things like that. Okay, so that was the velocity vector. New vector, the body position vector. See that this is a vector, this is not a direction, so I don't have to write the suffix vector. So the body position, what is it? I ask kOS to print the magnitude of that position. Distance, body distance is the distance from the center of mass of the body and the ship. Okay, and ship altitude. So let's see. Okay, so this is again a very, very long vector because this vector starts from the origin point here and is going to the center of mass of Kerbin. Is going to the center of Kerbin. So this is a very long vector. Okay, and see those numbers. So the first number is the magnitude of this vector. So 1,220,679, okay, meters. The second number is body distance. So this is the distance from my craft to the center of Kerbin. Those numbers are exactly the same. Okay, so you can write the magnitude of body position or the distance of the body. This is the same thing. And the last number is the altitude here. And the difference, you see, is equal to the radius of Kerbin. That means in my script, if I add here ship altitude plus body radius, good. This time I have the same numbers, the same number, not exactly. You see, you have the first digit here and the decimal point is not the same. That means that my vector here, the vector for the altitude, is not calculated from the origin of my box. The altitude is computed from your root part, and the root part is not exactly the it's not the origin of your box. Okay, here in my case it's quite my root part is a probe, and it's quite the origin of the box, but not totally. This is why I have here a difference of 0.1 meters. This is 10 centimeters. Okay, so this is the difference. Okay, so the vector is going to the center of Kerbin, and you know that KSP shows the altitude from the surface of Kerbin. That's why I have to add the radius. Okay, so let me change that. I don't need this anymore, and I want to normalize that vector. Okay, here I don't want the facing vector anymore, so let me put false here and reboot. Okay, so now I have the Prograde vector and the body vector, but normalized. So that means that the length of the body vector here is the same as the length of Prograde vector. Okay, in the nav ball you have other information. For example, you have the normal vector. The normal vector is pointing up, not a good term, but you see that my craft is going up in reference to its orbit line. Okay, and I want to draw that vector, but I don't know why. There is no normal vector. You have a prograde vector, but you don't have the normal vector. But you see that that normal vector is perpendicular to the prograde vector, and it's perpendicular to the body vector too. That means that the normal vector is perpendicular to both body and prograde vectors. In math, there is an operation to find that vector is the cross product of two vectors. If you calculate the cross product of two vectors, you obtain a third vector perpendicular to both the two first vectors. Okay, perpendicular or orthogonal. So here I want to create a new variable, and this variable will be very useful in other scripts. So I want to create my normal vector, and normal vector is so set normal vector 2, and it is the cross product, the vector cross product, okay, vector cross product of the two vectors. So body position, I don't have to write the ship body position, and this is a cross vector of body position and Prograde vector. And I want that vector to be normalized. Okay, and here, up, so normal vector. It is magenta, purple, magenta. So normal here, and I want to draw the normal vector. Vector, sorry. Okay. All right. Okay. So here you see the normal vector is perpendicular orthogonal to the prograde vector, and the normal vector is orthogonal to the body vector. Okay, so it's orthogonal to both of them. The body and the prograde vector are not orthogonal, but it is not important. Okay, so now I have the direction of that mark in the nav ball. So I am able to change my change my facing vector to point in the same direction that the prograde vector, and I'm able to do the same with the normal vector. Okay, you see that when I move my craft, the vectors don't move because the normal vector and the prograde vector are the same. Okay, okay. So now we have the prograde vector, we have the normal vector, and the last vector I can use is the radial vector. This is the radial in vector and the radial out. Okay, so I want the radial vector, and the radial vector here, if I put my craft right here, sorry, I forgot to change that. Okay, so if you put the facing vector in the same direction of the radial vector, you see that the normal vector here is perpendicular to the radial vector, and the radial vector is perpendicular to the prograde vector. So the normal vector is both perpendicular to normal and prograde. So I can use again the cross product to find the radial in vector. So here, up. So now it's a radial vector. I don't need that. Normal vector. I want it to be normalized, and here I don't need this anymore. So radial vec. Yeah, radial vector, and it should be blue, cyan, and radial. Okay, let's do this. Here we go. So there are the three vectors of my nav ball here. Okay, the radial vector doesn't point to the center of Kerbin. Okay, the radial vector is meant to be orthogonal to normal and prograde vectors. So this is the radial vectors. The prograde vector is right here. Okay, so here, and then the normal vector is up. Okay, last thing, maybe you want to draw the retrograde vector, the anti-normal vector, and the radial out vector. For this, you just have to multiply by -1. Here, for example, you can have -1 times the radial vector, -1 times the normal vector here. So this is the anti-normal, don't know how to call it, radial out. And for the retrograde vector, it's you can do the same, but you have the retrograde suffix. I don't know why there is retrograde and prograde and there is not radial vector or normal vector, but it is what it is. Okay, so let's reboot, and now you see you have the anti-normal, the retrograde, and the radial out. Okay. Okay, so I think I told you everything about the vector you need with kOS. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you soon for the next one. Bye bye.